Rev up your engines! Well, Volvo's not a stupid company. They have a new piston. It's got a wave design on the top that's radical for 10% better energy use. But what's it for? It's not for an electric vehicle. It's for their big diesel semi-trucks. Yeah, they're still putting money into design and research for diesel trucks because they're not a stupid company. They know people are going to be driving these diesel trucks all over the world to deliver things with the big semis. Blah, blah, all they want about electric stuff. It's totally unfeasible. Realize Volvo's been making big, giant diesel trucks since 1928. You see them all over the place, right? Do they wonder about, oh, we're going to build these big electric ones? They might be fooling around a little here or there, but their main impetus is big diesel trucks that people use, try to make it more efficient. In this case, it's an interesting wave design on the top of the piston to make it more fuel efficient, right? They're not throwing all their eggs in the electric basket, even though, of course, Volvo, the Chinese company that makes cars now, right? They say, we're going to be all electric, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, let's see if that ever comes to fruition. I doubt it. I still can't believe the nonsense that these electric car pushers are sticking out. Listen to this headline. 4-minute extreme fast charging to chase the electric vehicle blues away. All right, so right off the bat, you think, oh, you can charge your car in 4 minutes. Here's what they're talking about. Charging your car so you get 100 miles of theoretical range in 4 minutes, right? Some of these things, their theoretical range is 300 miles, right? So basically, you're getting 1/3 of an equivalent tank of gasoline in 4 minutes. They're acting like you can fully charge your battery in 4 minutes. No, you can't. You're only getting 100 miles of range. They're acting that they just throw their lies out. You can charge your car in 4. Hey, it's like, oh, do you go to the gas station and you're almost out of fuel? Do you put in 1/3 of a tank? No, not unless you don't have any money. You fill it up so you can go a long way, right? Judging this thing, well, you can do that in 4 minutes. Yeah, then 100 miles later, at best 100, you'll probably get less than that. Then you got to charge it up again. They just keep propagating these lies to make it look like, oh, you can charge it in 4 minutes. Asterisk, and then you look at the bottom. Only means you can charge it to 100-mile capacity, not full capacity. And of course, they tell you you're not supposed to charge it to 100% because one, it takes longer and it can destroy the battery over time. So you're basically driving around things with a very limited range, and they just try to lie to say, oh, it's just like filling up with gasoline. It takes 4 minutes. Yeah, for 100 miles of range. It's ridiculous. Yet they keep pushing this propaganda on people that, oh yeah, we've got this problem fixed. No, they don't. And there's hardly any of these stations around that can do it that fast anyway. And it only works on certain electric cars, not others. It's a giant rat's nest. My advice, stay out of the rat's nest. Well, BMW's boss says it's over, that they're going to phase out all their manual transmissions in favor of automatics. Now, that's no surprise because you go way back in the day. Guys I knew with BMWs were driving enthusiasts. They were smaller cars. A lot of them had manual transmissions, and they call them BMW the ultimate driving machine, right? Well, guess what? Now, they're mainly bought by yuppies and rich people. And are they going to be shifting? No. They're happy with the automatic transmissions. Mind you, they're not happy with the price of fixing them when they break, but they got that kind of money and they're dumb enough to buy a BMW. They can buy another one when it breaks if they want another one. And that doctors in the Midwest who told me I had a BMW, it was the worst vehicle I ever had, they told me. This is people that have an awful lot of money, right? Well, it's no surprise that BMW is going to get rid of their manual transmissions. That's not their market anymore. They're rich yuppie mobiles. And interestingly enough, the guys that do like to drive them still, there's some out there. 6-speed manuals made over half of all BMW M2 sales in 2023. And of course, the M Series, the M2, those are their fast, zippy little cars. So there are guys out there that want them, right? And BMW's pretty much saying to that market, we don't care about you guys who are going to race around, and we want all the yuppie and rich people to drive them. So we're going to drop manual transmissions entirely. Their market is no longer the driving machine guys that are real serious. It is more or less rich people and yuppies who want to impress people by, oh, I drive a BMW. They'll lose lose some of their market share because, hey, guys that are real serious, they want those manual transmissions. But BMW says they're going to phase them all out. You have to say that I told you so because I did. Cybertrucks are already rusting. Now, the Cybertruck, of course, old Elon decided, I'm going to make them out of stainless steel, which created enough problems in itself, right? But guess what? He's used cheaper stainless steel, as I forecasted. You put a certain percent of nickel when you're making the steel, it becomes stainless and it doesn't corrode. The rub here is you got to put in enough nickel, and nickel costs a lot more than steel. Obviously, he's not using enough nickel in the stainless steel that he's making because they're rusted out. This is a problem that the DeLorean had. A bunch of them rusted too, especially the later ones when the company was going out of business, obviously buying things cheaper and they rusted out. Now, Tesla's coming out with this stuff. Well, if you get a covering, gets knocked off, you got to polish it and seal it and get all the dirt and grime. And what a lot of horse manure. It looks to me like they put some kind of coating on it, and the coating is already coming off. Now you put a coating on rocks, will hit it and stuff, and it'll start rusting. Now in your regular car paint, there's so many layers of different paint and clear coat and stuff, it's not usually much of a problem. But these things have only been out a couple months, and people are already getting orange dots all over them for areas that are rusting. Now, I forecast this one. I know that guy's a cheapskate, right? Richest man in the world. He should be called the biggest cheapskate in the world then, right? They can't even make the stainless steel, right? And they're rusting out already. Why do you think cars are painted, right? It's to keep the steel from rusting, you know? And even if you had an aluminum car, right? Pure aluminum corrodes like mad, right? And you'd have to be polishing that aluminum all the time. That's why we paint cars, people, to keep them looking good and they don't corrode, right? I've got motorcycles that are a lot of aluminum parts, and believe me, you got to polish the heck out of them or they look like crap in a short period of time. And it looks like the stainless steel Cybertruck isn't really stainless. Look, it's 1207 says, I want to buy a compact SUV. I'm helping my grandma get a new vehicle. She wants a compact SUV. I said the new Mazda CX-5. Reliability isn't a concern because she's leasing it. We won't drive many miles. What do you think? I want the 2.5 liter non-turbo. That's a good choice. You know, most people will buy a CX-5 because a comparable Toyota or Honda costs a whole bunch more money, right? You're going to pay more money. You're leasing it. You don't care if it breaks down when it has 100,000 miles. You won't own it. It's your grandma. She's not putting that many miles on it. That's actually a very good choice, especially since you're leasing it. You don't have to worry about it going 400,000 miles. You're not going to have the thing, right? So, hey, that's a good choice. And I like the idea of a 2.5 liter non-turbo. It's not too zippy. Maybe grandma's getting a little older, couldn't handle the power or something that's turbocharged. They'll last longer that way too. So yeah, that's a pretty good choice. Well, check it out. Japan's oldest motorboat maker has now built an electric outboard. Now, Tohatsu, you may not have heard them, but that's Japan's oldest outboard motor maker. Now, you might think Yamaha, but actually, this Tohatsu company built boat motors a couple of years before Yamaha did, so they beat them to the punch. Now, interesting concept. You take a close look, though. You know what it looks like to me? A fancy trolling motor, right? They made trolling motors forever. Now, this is going to be an 8-horsepower model, so nothing gigantic, big, right? Now, of course, here's the thing that I laugh my hiney off at. All the articles I've read about it, right? They give you the technology, 8 horsepower, la, 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 la. They don't give you anything about range. I'll tell you right now, you aren't going to get diddly squat range out of a little electric motor like that. Outboard motors are extremely inefficient. They're built for speed, not for gas mileage, right? You ever been in somebody's ski boat? It's got outboard motors, probably 2 of them, right? Those things suck through gas like no tomorrow. You get one of these big outboards out there, now we're talking about 400 or 500 horsepower, right? You're cruising along. Those things use about 40 gallons an hour. They don't get 40 miles a gallon. They get 40 gallons for 1 hour of driving. They're tremendous energy hogs. And you put this little bitty electric outboard on, I'm telling you, even at 8 horsepower, they're not going to go all that long. Of course, it depends on the size of the battery. battery hook it up to, right? What are you gonna do? Put a 2,000-pound battery in your boat, you know? It'll make that boat handle like crap. It'll be so heavy, and of course it has to push more weight, so they'll use more energy. Baby, they got a cute little 8 electric horsepower engine here the Japanese are putting out, but man, I'll tell you right now, there aren't too many people that are gonna go out and buy these things. They're gonna be stranded in the middle of nowhere with no electricity. Outboard motors are extremely inefficient, right? You make an electric one, it isn't gonna go very far. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.